On New Year's Eve, I realized that I had 2 broken spokes when I was out with my wife, and it was on my rear wheel of my Juice Bike's Rip Current S. And I'm going to show you how to replace the spokes on the rear wheel of an electric bike. And it's not specific to the Juice Bike, could be on any bike. This has got the Bafang hub motor on it, and let's get started. This is a Juice Bike's Rip Current S, but the spoke changing process really applies to any bike. It might be just a little more specific on e-bikes, and so that's why I'm going to make this video for you. So you can see I've got a broken spoke. It's right out of this hub hole here. Here's the spoke itself. How I knew I had a broken spoke was because as I was riding, you hear a little ping, 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 ping like that, a little high pitched noise like that, and it's generally one of your spokes is broken. So, and there's 2 places they usually break, right down here at the bend. And this is a new spoke, so you can see the bend right here. It'll break here, or it'll break up here, which is by the rim. So we're gonna pull out this spoke, take the nipple off of the end of it, replace the spoke, tighten the nipple back up, and I'll show you how to do that. The preparation for this process is fairly easy, and don't take offense, but I'm going to talk to you sort of like you're a 2-year-old. So you need a stem valve remover so that the air stem over here, you actually put this in, and this came with my tire valve, my tire changing kit, my patch kit, and you just stick it in here and you engage it and then turn it counterclockwise, and that will remove the stem. It'll let all the air out essentially from your tire, because then what you want to do is break the bead or loosen up the bead all the way around the bike. Loosen the bead so that you can see all the way in your rim, just like that. That's going to give you lots of nice space to work with. You'll want to watch the pattern in which these spokes, there's usually about 2 different patterns, but everything on this side of my rim is pretty much overlapping the inside one. So you just look at the rims, or just look at the spokes to the left and to the right, and you'll get the pattern down. So this spoke here needs to go to the outside of this spoke here, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Let's get the old spoke out, the broken spoke. You can see right here that round indentation on the band. I use a tire wedge here and just loosen this band here so that you can grab it. And that's just the rim protection band there, and you can see down into the hole right here. Now, if you look down in there, you'll notice that your rim is actually 2 layers. So I'm going to pull this out just like that and remove the old spoke. And it's out. You can see the break right there at the end. Now on this bike, the back spokes are shorter than the front wheel spokes. You can imagine why, because you've got this large hub for the e-bike motor here in the back, and up front you only have a small axle. So the back ones are actually, they're thicker than the front spokes, and they're shorter as well. These are 200 millimeters. They're stainless steel, by the way. I'm going to take my new spoke and I'm going to thread it through the hole right here. So we go through the disc. Now, so that you can actually get it through all the way, you may have to put just the slightest effort at one of the ends, but it will slide in just fine. And there it's in just like that. Once you get the spoke threaded through the hub, then you bring it up to the hole by where it needs to be anchored. So I've got the spoke in my hand and it's up by the hole in the rim, and so now I need to expose that hole. It's right here where my thumb is, and I'm going to expose that so that I can put the nipple down in there and get that done. So let me get the rim band moved out of the way. just like that. And what I do, I use these Pedro's tire levers. They're really hard plastic. They're unbreakable, but they're inexpensive. And I keep these in my bag, and I'll just put that there just for keeping things out of the way. Here's a little technique I'm going to show you. So in order to put this nipple down through the 2-layered rim, I don't want to lose that anywhere in between those 2 layers. So this is the top of the nipple right here. And you can see it's got a slot there for a screwdriver. And on that top slot there, I'm going to take the old spoke, and I'm going to take the end of it with the threads, and I'm going to insert it into the threads so that I don't have to hold it with my hand. And this is going to make it a lot easier to put this threaded end onto the end of the spoke. So I'm going to push this out of the way. And I'm going to take this nipple and I'm going to put it down inside the hole. And I'm already there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to match up the end of the spoke to the end of that nipple. Now you need to make sure that the nipple, the stainless steel nipple, the silver colored nipple, is aligned straight to the spoke, because you don't want to cross thread it. But it's pretty easy to do, because just use your hand and you can do it just like this. And then you can use this old spoke, and you can see I'm turning it and it's going down onto the new spoke. And then I'm done. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew the old spoke out of here. And sometimes it gets a little tight just because you've screwed it down, but it's coming out. And there we go. There's the old one. The nipple's in place, and it's already screwed onto the end of the new spoke. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screwdriver, flathead, and I'm going to screw that down onto the spoke itself, just until it's snug. And then after that, I'll use a spoke wrench on it. There, it's already there, so it's fairly tight. And I'm going to use a 12 gauge spoke wrench on this and just kind of snug that up. And I'll check the trueness of the wheel here later. Needs just a little bit more to it right there. And that's looking good. The spoke itself, it's in, it's good to go. It's underneath the rim liner there. Everything's snugged up really well. Now I've got liners in here in this tire, so I want to make sure that those are as straight as possible, and that I'm not pinching the tube when I put this back together. So what I'll do is I'll put the stem back in, and it's pretty obvious which way it goes, but it goes this way with the little nail head facing outward. I'll put that in the tool and insert that back in clockwise until that's nice and snug, just like that. And now I'm ready to inflate the tire. I'm going to put just a little air in here first, just enough to firm up the tube, and then I'll make sure it's not kinked and that the valve's sitting straight. I use my little cordless air pump here. This thing is a lifesaver. No more compressor at my shop here. Make sure this air stem is coming through straight and that you don't have anything pinched up there, and that the rim strip, the protection strip around the rim, is not folded over, and everything looks good. 28 pounds even. It's a great little compressor.